I'm Daniel Meeker, work at Overland Park Fire Department, finishing up 30 years.
I'm Glenn Meeker, Danny's dad. Currently I'm retired, enjoying life. Well, my dad was a volunteer at Overland Park. Probably, I'm not sure of the years, it had to be early 50s. And he liked it, but he didn't have the time to do it. And then I got on the volunteers at Overland Park for quite a while. And of course, kids was tagging along at that time. And then Danny got interested in the fire service, and here he is now, retiring.
Dad and I together, we figured have 75 or 76 years
Total.
of service total together.
To the county fire service, yeah.
I grew up watching Dad go to work, and we'd drive by the fires he had. And one of the first fires I remember was Four Seasons. Four Seasons burned down, and driving by and looking, all the destruction. And Dad, I was up in this attic, or I was over here. It's like, what do you mean you're up in there? So and growing up and going up to the station and seeing him, and like I said, the old LaFrance fire trucks were there at the time, and I basically used those as a jungle gym. Came up to see Dad and play on the trucks. And I remember one time I accidentally set the air horn off, and Dave Hogue jerked me out of the truck. I thought I was in so much trouble, and they were all laughing.
Yeah. Had some good times. It was always a good time at the fire station, good times on the fire grounds.
Just growing up and being at the firehouse and seeing the culture, the brotherhood that Dad had, that they all treated me like I was their son when I came up to the house. Got out of high school and went and took my EMT class. It was Aubrey Fire Station at the time. Went to the state exam and took a couple firefighting classes out of JUCO. Got on at South Johnson County, and we always called it South County, and I know the names have changed a lot since then, but when I was on it, South County. Got on there, got married early on, really wanted to get up here and be able to work with Dad and work here at Overland Park, and finally got hired in '96 and worked at the same station as Dad for about 3 or 4 years.
At least that, yeah.
Yeah, so what was funny was the Dad's captain was Raleigh Burkard, my captain was Larry Burkard, and then we had 2 Meekers as a driver, and then he had Dave Young on his shift, I had Matt Young on my shift. No relation, just happened to be. So we wouldn't even have to switch out the name tags in the morning. We just like Burkard, Meeker, Young, good enough. It was a big family when I first started here, and it's still got some of that family atmosphere, but we've grown so much that there's people who walk in, and it's like, you got a T-shirt on or polo, and I guess you're supposed to be here. Yeah, I'm the officer. It's like, oh, okay. What do you need me to do? There were 4 stations: Station 1, Station 2, and Station 4 and Station 5. So we didn't have a Station 3 at the time. Dad worked at what was Station 3, which is now 49's, and then was about the time you retired, they built the new Station 3 by Deanna Rose. The trucks, we were just phasing out the dashes. Had the open cabs in the back, and I love riding in the open cab and being able to wave at the kids and that kind of stuff as you're at the stoplights and interacting with the public, and and the closed cabs are nice now. Being able to be in the controlled environment and not out there. And,
Definitely.
We were talking about the ice storms of 2002 or something like that, where tree branches and ice and stuff like that were falling in on the guys in the back. And back then, there's a lot more horsing around and true wrestling matches and things like that. Now, you know, that's frowned upon. So. Right out of the gate, while I was still a volunteer here, was the floods of '93. That was pretty much the first real incident that I was involved in. They're like, hey, we need you guys to go up and do some sandbagging up in Shawnee. Got a neighborhood there that's getting ready to be flooded, and ended up over there sandbagging. And you know, it's a lot of hard, dirty work, and it's like, what am I getting myself into? And you know, from there, it got a lot more fun. We had big fires as a time of woodshake shingles, back when neighborhood associations could require them. And you know, the city place fire, had Chief Myers not gotten that changed, we probably would have lost that whole neighborhood, not just 20 some houses. We would have lost the entire neighborhood because all of those were wood shakes in the late 90s. So I'm pretty proud that Overland Park stepped up and was like, now we need to be able to say no on these types of roofs. I was on the rope rescue team and the hazmat team. Rope rescue, it used to be rope rescue, water rescue, and hazmat. And then they combined the rope rescue and water rescue to make technical rescue, and then hazmat. And they said we had a choice. My battalion chief was Doc Slauson. He said, make the right choice. And yeah, you know how he could be. So he's like, okay, so I guess I'm on the hazmat team. He's like, that's the right choice. So it's like, okay. So I went to a lot of really cool classes through hazmat. Homeland Security offered classes. I got to go to the atomic test site down by Las Vegas, Nevada, right where Ground Zero was. You know, they check our shoes when we came out around Ground Zero, make sure we weren't carrying any radiation home and that kind of stuff. Went to a really cool bomb class in New Mexico. It was, you know, shortly after Columbine and some of those types of issues started showing up, and you know, so the big question, you know, what if somebody tries to bomb a school or those kinds of things. So got educated on, you know, how to prevent some of the bombing things, how to identify explosives and different things like that. Had a lot of cool opportunities. We worked with the police department. I went in on one with a police officer on a call one time with a level B suit, which is just a plastic suit, and then a bomb suit over the top of that. And then we're going down into this cellar of a basement. You know, the stairs are this wide, and we've got all this equipment on and air packs. And you know, he's like, I'm gonna go down there, make sure there's no tripwires, and then you go down there and see if there's anything that we need to address as far as hazmat side of it. So we get down there and you know, yeah, everything looks clear. It looks like maybe a little drug lab or something like that, but nothing explosive or anything that's going to come out and get us. And so climbing back up the stairs, and the police officer falls on the stairs. It's like a turtle. I mean, once you get in that bomb suit, it's like once you fall, it's hard to get back up. So I'm trying to help him up and get out of that cellar. But it's a dangerous job, and you know, to go 30 years and not have anything truly major. You know, probably the closest call we had is Paul Carney getting lost in the basement. I was down there with him when he got lost. We had a conversation. He's looking for the exit. I said, it's right behind me. And in the process, we got turned around. He ended up going to the window where they actually grabbed him. I lost him. He walked out into the smoke, and it's like, you know, and then my heart sank. I was like, that may be the last time I see him, you know. And then, you know, not very many people know this, but we got lost on the way out. Me and Ryan Consum and Mike McCormick. Ryan just happened to reach up and we're under the stairs, and he grabbed the stairs, and I was like, put my hand on the stair, and we did not let go of the stair. We crawled up onto the stairs and got out. It was just so dark, and we had this big pile of spaghetti. You know, you think, yeah, we'll just follow the hose line out. Well, so much hose had been down there, it's just a big pile of mess, and so following the hose line was out. And so we were lucky, and you know, got out unscathed, and you know, kind of, you know, let's not tell too many people this story, but hey, sorry guys, I'm leaving. There's a lot of good guys on this department. It's the senior guys on this department know their stuff, and OPFD is in great hands. I've always said, you know, I can't teach you anything if you know everything. So, you know, don't sit there and I already know that or anything like that. If I want to teach you something, you may have heard it 100 times, but I may show you something that much different that makes a difference. Be the senior guy. Once you get to that, it happens fast. And it's like, one minute you're the new guy, and the next day you're like, okay, I'm it. But you know, take that seriously. When I got hired, we were at the same station, so we had coffee every morning, and you know, talked about what happened on the truck and what he had from his shift and things like that. And then after he retired, we kind of wanted to keep that tradition going, and you know, so I've been going to his house every morning, mooching coffee off of him, coffee and a bagel, and you know, we've done that. Well, it had to have been most of the 30 years, and we've, you know, barely missed any days that I was actually on duty, you know, coming in, and did it this morning before I came in today. So my wife, you know, we got married young. I mean, I think just after my 21st birthday, she wasn't even 21 yet. You know, we couldn't rent a rental car on our honeymoon. We were young, and you know, she 100% supportive. You know, me being gone, you know, 10 nights a month was new for her. She definitely took to it, and you know, was fully supportive. You know, my kids grew up like I did, you know, hearing the radio traffic going off at night, and you know, that kind of stuff, and you know, being gone for birthdays and Christmas, you know, they took to it too. So I appreciate my family giving me so much support. So, you know, Kendra and I have been married for 30 years. On our honeymoon, we went sailing and fell in love with sailing. And so we're gonna pursue that. I tell everybody, you know, my ultimate plan is to float around the Gulf of Mexico, and you know, that's what we want to do. Until she's done working, we're gonna take some sailing vacations and do those sorts of things. Ultimately, when she's ready to retire from her job, then we'll get a sailboat and we'll be down the Gulf of Mexico. And in the meantime, may do some part-time stuff over to Latha, doing some inspections and doing some things like that. But you know, the ultimate goal is to get out on the water.
You retire, you think, well, I'll have all kinds of free time. There's always something to do. If you just sit down and quit, you won't be around long. Just stay up and keep going.